there were several things that I was kind of expecting that didn't turn out as I thought they would. For example, I just had a lot of letdowns on this trip. Things that I thought was true, things that I was convinced of the last time I went there. And like one of the biggest shockers to me that, I'm still trying to completely process is just the Temple Mount Institute, because while I've talked a lot about the Temple Mount Institute over the years, while obviously I disagree with the rebuilding of the temple, at the same time, I took it for what it was, just, Jewish people who were doing everything they could to get the temple rebuilt and were making every effort possible and raising all this money and getting everything ready. And it's an absolute joke. And yeah, I went back and I looked at that picture of the menorah that I had taken 20 some years ago, and I do think it's the same one. So I don't know if it was just, a 19-year-old who's just believing everything he hears, but what tell everybody what you thought about the Temple Mount Institute. And if you're watching this, you're not familiar with that. It's basically an organization that is getting everything ready for the temple. They've got all the artifacts of it ready to go. They've got the altars, the table of showbread, the menorah. They've got everything all ready to go. So as soon as the Messiah comes and starts building the temple, or as soon as they get a hold of the Temple Mount, they can start building the temple. But, and what was your impression after going and visiting there? I mean, do you think they're about ready to rebuild the temple?
Yeah, that was probably one of the biggest letdowns of the trip, and that was one of the deciding factors that kind of changed the direction of the project as well. Because I through I don't know propaganda or something, I just thought that the Temple Institute was much bigger and they were doing more. But when you actually go there and you see everything, you realize that it's kind of all a sham. And that giant menorah that they have out in the city square, there's no way that's gold. No way. It looks like spray paint on that menorah. So I mean, maybe it's gold, but these kind of things just kind of, I've never seen gold like that before in my life. It looks like spray paint.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And yeah, and so again, this is something that just blew my mind, because when we went in there, I remember 20 some years ago we went in there and I was like seeing all those things. I'm like, man, this is incredible. I mean, I was like, these are real. This is real gold. I remember seeing the table of showbread that they had and thinking, man, this is so cool. This is so legit looking. So the thing is, I went in there, expecting these things to be legit. I thought they really were gold, all that. And then we walked in there and I'm looking at this stuff. I was like, this looks fake. These things do not look real. And when we got done, I'm like asking questions, because the tour now is like all automated too. Before you had like a person that explained everything to you and they went into a lot of detail on different things. Now you just go and they play some stuff over the audio, and then whatever they're talking about has a light come up on it. And I asked him, I said, are those the same things that, artifacts that you had in there 23 years ago? Because they've moved to a new location since I was there last. And one person said they weren't the originals, so I'm thinking they needed money and they went and melted it down and, used the gold for something else. But then another person said that they were. We asked about the menorah, if that was actually real gold. One person said it was, but then the other one said that it like rained gold for, how long what did he say? Like rain gold
Yeah,
on it for 30 days or something?
I think so. I'm pretty sure that's what he said. It rained gold on it. I don't know how this process happened, but the way he said it was he was definitely lying. Like the
Well,
way he
yeah.
said it, yeah, like it was just not making sense. And when we asked that the worker, that girl worker there, she looked like she didn't know how to answer us when, like, so she like immediately looked at someone else trying to get someone else to answer. Maybe you should, go talk to them over there about any of these questions.
Yes. Yeah. And then one of the things too that was funny, I heard a preacher one time, and I don't have the audio clip, so I'm not going to name him or anything like that, but I was there in person, and he started talking about the Temple Mount Institute, and he started saying how they have everything they need. They have all the building materials all stored in warehouses over there in Israel. They're all ready to go. And so, I was kind of hoping maybe we could find out where those warehouses were, get some video shots of it, and even see if maybe we could go in there and look at the stuff. And then I asked the guy about that there, and he just looked at me like I had two heads. He's like, yeah. And then he basically said, and I'm telling you, this is going to make a lot of pre-trib Baptists mad hearing this stuff, that especially ones that have been to the Temple Mount Institute, but I don't think they ask questions when they go over there. They just believe everything that they say. But the guy looked at me like I was crazy when I suggested that. And then he just said, nobody's trying to rebuild the temple. And he started talking about all the rumors that are out there about it and things that people think they're trying to do. And he basically said that the money that they raise there, it's not going towards rebuilding, things for the temple, but it's going towards bringing awareness, to the Jewish people and their ways and customs and the need to build a temple. So it's a propaganda organization is all it is. There's nothing legitimate about it. Not only are they not preparing to build the temple, but if they gave them the Temple Mount tomorrow, they would have no idea what to do. They'd have no idea.
And I firmly believe if they gave them the temple tomorrow, they would not turn to the Temple Mount Institute to help them with anything.
They would have nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I think they would just start over. And I mean, it's not like they've done much, because you were saying to me 23 years ago when you went to Israel, it's pretty much you saw all the same artifacts that you saw when we went there, last week. So
I felt like there was less stuff.
Right.
There literally was. Almost everything was paintings. And I remember them having a lot more stuff than what they had.
They have a lot of great artwork.
Right.
A lot of great art. They spent a ton of money on a lot of paintings, but that's pretty much all they have.
Yeah. But they've not gotten any closer in 23 years. And so that's another thing too that just kind of threw me, because pre-trib IFB people, because they're always preaching imminency and preaching about how it can happen at any moment. Prophecies are being fulfilled every day. They're always really dramatizing this stuff up and making a big deal about anything that happens in Jerusalem. It's a fulfillment of Bible prophecy or whatever. But then when you go over there and you talk to Jews about the rebuilding of the temple, they don't even really care. They're not trying. They want it to be built someday, but they don't believe it will be built until the Messiah comes. So the thing is, they don't even have to get anything ready, because it's all going to be miraculous when the Messiah gets here and everything. And he'll make sure it's all taken care of. But then, that one younger guy we talked to, he's like, I don't even think it'll be in my lifetime. He doesn't think it'll be anytime soon where they're going to have, be able to rebuild the temple. So, I mean, that was a shocking letdown to me, the stuff that I found out when we went to the Temple Mount Institute. I mean,
right. Another thing, let's say that golden menorah was real. Mm-hmm. I mean, the guy even admitted it's only gold plated. Like it's only, so if it is real, which I've never seen gold that looked like that in my life. It doesn't look like gold at all. It looks like spray paint that has been under the sun and is cracking and drying now. But let's say it is real. It's only a gold plating. So if you're going to really make these instruments, shouldn't they be solid gold like they were originally?
Right.
I mean,
yeah, everything they're doing is so inferior to what the Bible says.
Yeah, cheap imitation junk. Right. And that's why I don't think that they would have any part of it. So that's one of the reasons why we're kind of stepping back and reevaluating, the movie, because it's like, are we going to even say the truth? Because it's not even the truth. The Temple Mount Institute has nothing to do with the rebuild, and
Right.
so
And
I
yeah,
just need some time to process all this.
right. Because we went in there too, I guess, believing what you hear from all the prophecy gurus and stuff about Israel preparing for the temple and, trying to make all these things happen. And it's just not true. It's not a reality. The ones who actually want, I mean, like really want the temple to get rebuilt are a very small minority.